Alright, so I'll just be going through a clean way to do your bacterial vat setups. So bacterial vats are typically kind of the first multi that actually has a challenge to automating. You have to make sure that the radio hatch is only receiving rods when you can start the recipe and when your fluid hatch is not full, to optimize kind of your materials, which is why I'm doing a tutorial on it. So you want to start off with like a 9x9 grid of this clean stainless machine casings. We are wall sharing our bacterial vats to optimize the usage of the radio hatch, as it can actually be shared between them all. So just place all your machines in a formation like this. You should be good. Cool. Now for the roof. Okay, so now we want a radio hatch right here. We can go and place some maintenance hatches on each of these. I'm just using auto taping. You can use normal ones. Alright. Now we want to put an input hatch in the middle. Or output hatch, sorry. I'd recommend using an LUV one. So right here. Then we'll want to break these blocks, break these blocks. We can put advanced stocking input bus here, and then 2 input hatches. Next update in 2.6, hopefully we can use the stocking input hatches, as they're currently broken in 2.5.1 and crash machines very easily. Sorry, this was meant to be an output hatch. Cool. Now we can see we need to just add some energy hatches, so I'll place them here. We'll use UV ones, I guess, as a demonstration. Cool. So as we can see, it's all formed now, so that's a good sign. So now we want to get a advanced, or just a wireless fluid detector. We want to get an advanced internal redstone receiver. Make sure it's advanced and make sure it's internal. And then we want to get fluid regulator. I typically just go for HV, as it's more than enough. So on our output hatch, we want to put a wireless fluid detector cover on one of the sides. We want to set the fluid threshold to, I guess, half the hatch size, and a frequency to something you never used. Set it to private so that other players can't interfere with your frequency, and invert the signal. Make sure you invert the signal, that's very important. So next step, you'll put a advanced redstone receiver, internal. Put it on the same frequency, use private signal, and then get your fluid regulator, put it here, and just set it to the max. So now that's your fluid hatch setup. Now you want a super tank. Doesn't matter what super tank. Let's put that there. You'll want a shutter cover. So this can block the incoming flow of fluids. So open if work disabled. And put another internal receiver with the previous frequency in. So 301. Use private frequency. And then we want to get an internal. We want to put another wireless fluid detector cover in here, and set this just before your super tank gets full. So this is used to detect when your fluid is full. So you can turn the radio hatch off on that condition. Use frequency again. So now that's your super tank set up already. Cool. So now for the ME. So if you've reached this point in the game, I kind of expect most players to have a good handle on the overall AE system. So I'm going to set up a subnet right here. I put 3 wireless connectors on the side with a neutronium energy cell. You can use any means to power it. I'm just using this for the ease. Put an ME drive here. Flux cable. Actually, I'll put it here. Flux cable and a crafting terminal, just so we can see the input of the terminal. Next, we will want wireless connector here and here. We will want to use a wireless setup kit. There, 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 and there. So now these two are connected to the internal subnet. Looking good. So now we want to simulate kind of a main storage system. We'll just do this with an ME controller and ME drive. We can use that. That should turn on. Here. I've made up a cell already with some of the ingredients that we will want inside. We'll also want fluid, but I'll do that later. So we'll want to connect one wireless connector to main to feed the actual rods in. So we'll put them here. I think it's lagging at the moment. Yeah, there we go. That should be connected. We're going to want an interface that pulls rods on here. Cool. I'll deal with that later. We're going to want flux cables on here. Set these to auto pull. If you have a subnet, you can manually assign them for as many as you have. We'll want a fluid export bus with hypercards typically. You can use normal cards, it's probably fast enough. Just by this point in the game, hypercards should be cheap enough to use. Next, we'll want to connect this close to our main. So now you'll want to put a dual interface right here. You want a fluid export bus and just a normal export. Here. I won't connect these just up yet with the dedicated items we need, as we'll have to do with the storage. Okay, so we'll want to run a line of cables down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is for the dedicated to detect the items in the system. We want this. So ME level emitter, ME fluid level emitter, just a random block, frame box. And then we'll want an advanced redstone transmitter, external. That is very important. So So run a layer of blocks on top of here. Put your manganese frame one block down there. So you want 4 level emitters for this recipe in this case, then a fluid level emitter. So set all these level emitters to redstone mode. And then, so we're going to be using these ingredients, so I'm just going to put these in right now. Set them all to like the minimum recipe. So yeah, I'll do 64. 64. This is just for raw growth medium. Calcium. That is sold twice. And then we'll just want mutagen. That's what we'll be using. Perfect. So that's 2000. Doesn't really matter. Okay. So now we'll want to run a red alloy wire across the top. So like this, like this, like this, like this. This is currently saying that none of these items are in the system, which is correct. So I want to put this transmitter on here with the same signal frequency as this wireless fluid detector. So 302, use private. We'll come up here. So we'll want to make room for this so we can put our radio hatch mechanism. So we'll want an item detector cover on here. Set this to just one item. I think normal is fine. Put this here, we want a wrench to modify this conduit. It's really buggy, so that's what like this. And like this. Then we'll want an item conduit on here. Set this to extract without signal. Set this to insert. Now we can test. We can test this. We'll just put it on here. Took 4 rods. This is why we need to add a item downgrade. So it only pulls 1 rod at a time. Now we can see it's only inserting 1 item at a time. So this item detector cover stops the conduit from pulling more from the interface. And this interface is connected directly to the main line. So we can place some more enriched Naquata rods in here once we have a drive. We'll put our drive in. This is just some of the ingredients. That works, that should last. There we go. Okay, so now we want to put our frame box on here with a advanced redstone receiver. An external one. This external and internal just means that whether they interact with the outside. So we want a redstone current that forms either if this signal is on when we don't have any items in the system, or when the supertech is full. So we've set these to 302 frequency. So we'll want to set this to 302 frequency, put a private frequency on there, put the OR gate on. So this will turn on now, and we'll stop the enriched Nakata rods from entering this radio hatch. As we can see, it's already done that. This is because this signal is already on it at turning this on. Okay, before I forget, I'll quickly wire up these UV energy hatches. Alright, cool, most of it should actually be set up already. So what we want to do next is we want to set our filters. So this wants to be mutagen. This will auto-pill when we have cells inside. We're not going to put cells in just yet. We're also going to want the bacteria. So medium. I'll have to try to find it. I'll turn this off. We want this. Yep. Turn back on cheat mode. So we want to put some Petri dishes in each hatch. Like so. It's perfect. Checking our filters around again. Okay, we need mutagen still on this one. Cool. So for these cells, we want to partition them. So one with salt, one with calcium, one with mincemeat, one with agar, and then one with mutagen. This is so the system actually has some a buffer. Mincemeat, calcium, salt. It can detect that you actually have the items in the system. So there you go, right? Yep. So I'm gonna put these in for now. We also want to put internal redstone receiver covers. Advanced. On these controllers, but I'll do that now. And you want to set it to the same frequency that you had initially, which would be this one, 301. And as we can see, all the items have been detected, so these have turned off, except for the fluid, which we haven't done yet. So these machine covers will turn on and off based on the amount of fluid. Try to do this quickly. Cool. So that's all done. Now I'm just going to manually insert fluid. So there's 59,000 fluid in here. So this should be enough to jumpstart it, but just in case, I'll show you guys how to do this. So I'm just going to use a super tank into it for now. That should be enough. What you would want to do is you would want to put your mutagen cell. You want a capacity card on here. Boom. You need two. An acceleration card. So you can input items faster than you use it. This is why you typically want only one subnet per bacterial vat quad. Unless you just run multiple of these export buses. Or use storage buses or some other mean of inserting it into the hatch. You'll just then want to put the items that you need inside the export hatch. Sorry. My mouse is a bit finicky. And you'd do the same with mutagen. You would normally use hypercards with fluid export. They just don't let you with normal buses. We've got it inputting from here. Normally you would have a drive. So we should see this should start exporting, as you can see. Currently don't have the fluid drive, but as soon as we put this in, the system should hopefully start. Okay. Just double check this is set right. Okay. System's input in. Some reason system's not detecting mutagen. I think because of the buffer. That's why. So we'll enable this. Because these buffers need to be filled up. Now the system turned on. It's only inputting one rod at a time. And all these raw growth catalyst mediums have started running. Cool. So this will happen initially at the start. Some power failures, but that's normal. It just needs to get to a reasonable size inside the hatch. Now just wait for it to fill up a bit. Can manually do this. There we go. As you can see, the hatch stays at half full. Now the input is increased. And the excess is flowing into the super tank. So there's a bunch of visual bugs with this medium. When you break and replace the modi. So this should keep operating until this super tank fills up. Normally you would want to redirect this into another storage cell on main. But you can still have this cover and it will detect when that's full, because this will back up. So now we'll test that functionality. That should be enough to trigger the fluid threshold. So now we should wait 20 seconds, and it's already stopped. So yeah, that's how you automate the bacterial vat. Stopped processing.